when I've used and had help from a certain plant that many people use, although not everybody uses properly. And it's using this plant properly that will help anybody who feels an affinity with it to realize what it is I'm talking about. Now, there are many people out there who don't take substances of any kind, nor do they feel they need to. And the use of a helper plant is only appropriate to those who feel it's right. So the fear that societies have that this plant, these plants, but this plant in particular, is dangerous and to be avoided, is only because it allows for change. It allows for change to those who require its assistance. And those who require its assistance, well, they know who they are. And it may be that for people who've never tried it, for people who've never used it simply because, well, they're afraid to, or they believe what they've been told, that it's bad and dangerous, or that they're just law-abiding citizens who wouldn't do anything other than follow the rules. Those who open to being helped by these plants have to do the work. The plant, it doesn't do it for you. In the same way that Christians know that they have to open to Jesus, open to Christ, accept Him, they must also know that they still have to do the work. That opening to that energy to be saved isn't simply letting go. They still have to do the work. That He helps. So it's like that. So there's nothing to be afraid of. And for those who use alcohol on a regular basis, while it's very easy to get into the habit of taking it regularly, it's a very numbing and meant to be type of experience on one hand. It's also very adrenaline, aggressive producing on the other. All these things alter consciousness. Alcohol alters consciousness. But unless the consciousness is being altered in the right way, for the right reasons, it doesn't help. It would be very difficult to just say things that too many people would take to be inciting to break the law or rebel against authority. Because, for instance, if I say that there are helper plants that people can use and do use, but for the most part the world says they're illegal, yet millions of people ignore that because they just know that this thing works for them. And we also know that alcohol, which everybody can take, everybody can have, there's plenty of it available at all times of the day and night, designed to stop you thinking, stop you feeling, make you aggressive, make you fighting, but stop you thinking and stop you feeling. So perhaps, and never mind the physical side effects, so perhaps it's time to do a little bit less drinking and fighting and a little bit more feeling. You see, it's hard for me to say something like, everyone should use cannabis. Everyone should take a helper plant. Everyone should at least try it. in order to know how it affects their consciousness and whether or not it's something that might help. Because if you're in any doubt about whether or not it's for you, you should be sure. There should be no doubt. So then either we wait until such time as the world comes to its senses a little bit and stops making a plant illegal, as you can sort of do in America, medicinally at least, sort of. Or we can just decide that the altering of consciousness should be left to the individual, to the individual's choice, whatever age they feel they're ready to make it. But to have people around who know about stuff like this, who can offer advice, who can guide, as we do or should do with alcohol. We always offer advice about the correct way to use it, how much to take, what's appropriate for men, what's appropriate for women, what age you can use it, whether you should drive. We've got loads of rules around alcohol to guide people to use it properly. But we know that many people disregard all of them. Yeah, well, those are the chances you take. You provide people with knowledge, you provide people with experience and wisdom if you have it, and then you let them make up their own minds. You let them decide to do what they choose to do. Well, in fact, you don't let them. They have a right to decide to do what they choose to do. And as long as we all agree that we have the right to decide to do what we choose to do, as long as we take everybody into consideration at all times. Now, I must qualify that, because when I say take everybody into consideration at all times, I don't mean that we must only do what we know must never, could never hurt somebody or cause offence, and worry about this and be mortified if we should discover we have. I don't mean that. We just know intuitively that provided what we do doesn't hurt anybody, doesn't cause someone to knowingly suffer or to lose something that they didn't want to lose, or to stop them from expressing themselves and finding who they are. As long as what we do doesn't do any of these things, then we're free to do what we do. It's like the prime directive. You can live any life you like. You're free to choose anything you want to do at any time. But you still have to take into account that you're not here alone, and that everybody else is doing exactly the same thing as you are, or trying to, and we can all help each other to actually achieve it. Some of that is just by allowing people to be free to do what it is they choose to do. Understand if you're interested. Find out why they do what they do if you're interested. And the other thing is to, each of us gets something from each other whenever we come into contact that enables each of us to fill in the gaps, whatever gaps we may have about who we are and what we're doing.